So let's get started. First story is awesome and terrible.
Yeah, it's super ironic. It's like the most ironic story on the planet.
This is the most ironic story on the planet, according to Anna Kasperi.
Yes.
And I think you're going to agree.
All right, the multimillionaire who bought the Segway company back in December just died while on a Segway, okay? He rode his Segway off a cliff and into a river in England.
Okay, now look. The guy is dead, so you feel bad, etc. But, like, remember when the Segway was first launched? This is going to revolutionize everything. It was literally pitched as the greatest invention of all time. Mm-hmm. I remember CNN doing a story on it.
And I agree.
Okay. And the guy's like, oh, this is awesome. Oh, no, Toonses. And he drove off a cliff with the Segway. Mm-hmm. Disaster on top of disaster.
Is it really possible for that to be an accident, though? That sounds so questionable to me.
Okay, now here's where the story gets more interesting, too, right? So that's the initial irony. You're like, oh, no, I can't believe it. But it turns out he's not the original guy who founded the company, okay?
Right.
He's the guy who bought the company last December, right? And his fortune is apparently about 166 million pounds, right? Mm-hmm. He's from England. And he's been giving away a lot of his money recently. He gave away 10 million pounds recently, and then turned around and gave another 3 million, and then another 10 million. And he's a fascinating guy. He actually grew up poor, but then made a lot of money as a defense contractor. This has so many twists and turns. Right. So you think, wait, is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? What's going on? No, he had this invention that he thought was going to help, like, prevent flooding, but it turns out it helps with getting the impact of bracing for the impact of explosions. Right? So defense, the military in Great Britain were like, oh, no, we got to have that. We got to have that. Which turned out to be great because it turned out it saved a lot of soldiers' lives. And he said he used to get letters all the time from soldiers saying, hey, thank you for inventing this. Mm-hmm. It saved my life, right? So he makes a killing off of that. Sorry, didn't mean that. Okay. And for the first time ever, I actually didn't mean it. Mm-hmm. And then he turns around and he buys Segway, bless his heart. And then he's going around, and then this terrible, tragic accident happens where he goes off the cliff. And it made me think, if I'm the cops, man, I'm going to get Scotland Yard on this thing.
Yeah.
You know why? Because he's given away his fortune, right? And he's a good guy. He's giving it to charities from where he came from in Great Britain to make sure other people have it. Somebody who would have gotten that money otherwise doesn't like this guy giving away all the money before he dies. I haven't said a word.
Oh, I see.
This is the cliff he went over? Wow. So they're gonna the Segway was in the river, so they're gonna pick it up and they're gonna see if it had any mechanical problems, if it was driver error, or
look, the reason why this story is so unbelievable is because the top speed of a Segway is 12.5 miles per hour. 12.5.
Yeah.
Like, it's inconceivable that someone would have some freak accident with a Segway.
It's conceivable, but it would seem like you would have time to adjust course.
Exactly.
Right?
You would have some time to tilt back or tilt to the side.
Right, unless somehow the Segway didn't respond to that because somebody had jimmied it. Look, by the way, this is crazy speculation.
It is.
Okay? I'm just talking off the top. I have no idea. If you couldn't figure it out, I'm not involved in the investigation. Okay, but the other, of course, sad but funny part of this is that the Segway was supposed to be such a wonderful machine that it responded to every nuance of your body. Mm-hmm. So if you were like winked in that direction, it's like kind of take you in that direction. I don't think the guy was like, hey, let's go for a swim, So either somebody tampered with it or the Segway was disastrously malfunctioning.
Right.
It's not good either way.
Right.
And look, the guy was a good guy, it turns out. And it's Jimmy Heselden, by the way, is his name. And he fell into the river wharf. And so it's a shame. It's a shame. It is a fascinating story from today.
Yes, it is.